I used to be the biggest procrastinator I knew. Seriously, if I had a massive important project on my desk, I'd suddenly develop a burning need to research the migratory patterns of Arctic terns. I'd clean my keyboard with a Q-tip, I'd alphabetize my spice rack. For years, I was convinced I was just lazy and undisciplined, but then I stumbled onto a kind of secret, a simple mind trick that hijacks your brain's laziest instinct and makes starting the hardest things feel almost effortless. And it all comes down to a simple rule that takes exactly 2 minutes. Let's be honest, the feeling is just the worst. You know exactly what you should be doing. It just hangs over your head like this dark cloud, fueling a low-grade anxiety that poisons the rest of your day. You tell yourself, okay, I'll start in an hour. Then, definitely after lunch. Then, tomorrow, for sure. Each delay just adds another layer of guilt and stress until the deadline is so close, you have no choice but to pull an all-nighter, fueled by panic and cheap coffee, swearing you'll never do this to yourself again. But you do. We all do. And here's the biggest lie we tell ourselves about it. That it's a character flaw? That we're lazy or just have terrible time management skills? But what if I told you that procrastination has almost nothing to do with discipline? What if it's not a moral failing at all? The science is pretty clear that procrastination is an emotional problem. Your brain is wired to protect you from things that feel bad. When you look at a big, difficult task, your brain's emotional center, the limbic system, basically screams, "Danger! This is going to be hard. You might fail. This feels uncomfortable." It completely overrides your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, which knows you need to do the task for your long-term goals. Your brain isn't being lazy, it's just trying to protect you by finding immediate relief, which it usually finds by watching another cat video. So how do you fight back against your own brain? Well, you don't. You trick it. It's called 2-minute rule. The rule is this: whatever task you're avoiding, you only have to commit to doing it for 2 minutes. That's it. Want to write a book? Just open a document and type for 2 minutes. Want to clean your entire disaster of a house? Just start in one corner of one room and clean for 2 minutes. Want to get in shape? Just put on your workout clothes and do jumping jacks for 2 minutes. It sounds almost stupidly simple, but it works because it's basically a hack against physics. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. The hardest part of any task is just getting started. The 2-minute rule makes the friction of starting so low, so ridiculously small, that your brain's threat detection system doesn't even go off. 2 minutes? Anyone can do 2 minutes. There's no fear of failure, no overwhelming dread. It's too easy to argue with. You just bypass the emotional fight and begin. Now, the real magic happens right after those 120 seconds are up. Once you start, a new force takes over: momentum. That little snowball you just nudged is now rolling down the hill on its own. More often than not, you'll look up and realize you've been working for 10 minutes, or 20, or even an hour, because once you've broken that initial inertia, the task is no longer some scary abstract monster. It's just the thing you happen to be doing right now. But look, some days you will stop after 2 minutes, and that is perfectly fine. The goal here isn't to trick yourself into working for hours every single time. The goal is to break the cycle of avoidance. By doing just 2 minutes, you've still won. You kept your promise to yourself, you made a tiny bit of progress, and you've started to teach your brain that starting isn't actually that scary. This is where a little self-compassion goes a long way. Beating yourself up after procrastinating only makes you feel worse, which just reinforces the negative feelings that made you want to procrastinate in the first place. Forgive yourself and just focus on the next tiny 2-minute step. If this idea is already making you feel a little bit of relief, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I am Enchant, and I share practical ways to work with your brain, not against it, every single week. So much of our lives are spent waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation to strike us like lightning. But motivation isn't something you have, it's something you create. The biggest lie about procrastination is that it's a permanent part of who you are. It's not. It's just a pattern your brain fell into to avoid feeling uncomfortable, and you can create a new pattern starting today. The secret is to stop thinking about the enormous, overwhelming task and just focus on the first 2 minutes. Lower the stakes so much that you can't help but start. That's how you build momentum. That's how you trick your brain into doing hard things. So here's my challenge to you. Right now, pick one thing you've been putting off. Set a timer for 2 minutes and just begin. Let me know in the comments what hard thing you're going to finally tackle. You have the power to break this cycle, and it all starts in the next 120 seconds.